Hello, good evening. Welcome to Easy 8's Online Painting Club. Welcome for a show that I am completely not prepared for. I am so tired today and I'm a little bit late. I apologise for that. I was kind of on time, but I actually had just a last couple of minutes of audio problems, but I think it's all solved. So hopefully you can hear me fine, you can hear the music fine, you can see me fine, and if there's any problems at your end, let me know and I'll see what I can do to try and alleviate those problems. I am shattered, but I've been really looking forward to today because I just get a little bit of peace and quiet up here in my attic, ready to kind of just do some painting. I'm really looking forward to some of the projects that I've got this evening, because I'm going to go back to some old Tyranid stuff that I've been dying to get back to, and yeah, I'm looking at the one of the other things I'm going to be doing now. And it's a little bit weathered from not being well looked after since I moved the studio around, since the last time I've done anything with it. Yeah, it needs some attention. That's what tonight's all about. If you're new here to Easy 8, it's not a tutorial by any stretch of the imagination. There's loads of that stuff already out there. This is merely an online painting club where you can come, hang out with some friends, make some new friends over there with these guys that are already waiting there in the live chat. Oh, Dave says he can't hear any music. Oh, I'm really sorry about the fact that you can't hear any music. Oh, not Dave, Leslie. Huh. I do apologise. I'll have a little look and see if I can work out some music in a sec. I can hear the music. Maybe you can't hear the music, it's just your end. Yeah, what I was saying was you can make some friends. These guys, they're brilliant. See, they're helping me out already. Yeah, and if you want, maybe you like to follow us, like us on Facebook, Instagram. We're also here on YouTube, just in case you didn't know. And you can subscribe, because every little bit that you do really helps me out a long way. Shattered, really tired, haven't even had a shave, look at it, awful. Yeah, this week has just been really busy. Late nights, early mornings, working out in the fields where I work, digging lots of post holes, putting up fences. I built a fence. I had to learn how to make a fence, and then I made a fence, and it was great. And I chopped down an old dead tree that broke that fence. It's been hard work. Yeah, there's a few people going in there saying there's no music, but I'm going to say hi to everybody first of all. First in the live chat, it's Out of This World Models and Minis. That's John Takax over there stateside saying, have a great show. I'll watch the replay, John. Cheers, John. Thank you very much for your continued and ongoing support. I really appreciate all the little tidbits that you throw our way and, the support that you give on your channel. If no one's heard of John before or Out of This World Models and Minis, then he's got his own YouTube channel with that name, and you should definitely go and check him out. Give him a big shout out last week. And John is apparently in the middle of making another video, kind of like a review sort of video. He's going to give us a little bit of a mention. I don't know if that video has gone live yet. One has done today. Might be that video. And we get a nice shout out. So go on over, give John some love and support his channel. That would be great. We got Leslie. I'm here. Howdy do. Jeff Lacey. That's my dad. Hi, Dad. We got Dave. We got Graham. And Leslie says, I feel your pain, dude. This week has really been a week. It's just, let's just say that. Yeah, man, I know, and I'm really looking forward to the weekend, but I might be going for a very early morning kayak, learning how to do rescues in my own time, because I just don't like sleep, apparently. That's the way it's going to be. So yeah, I've got no music, apparently. Really sorry about that. I don't know why that is. Yeah, soz. Let me have a little look and see if I can sort something out. Maybe you'll get it if I do this. Let me know. That's about the only button I think I can push to maybe give you guys some music. Looks like something's going out. I don't know. Let me know. Anyway, do you know what? I'm just going to crack on. Maybe you can put your own music on. The very original shows, like the first couple of episodes, used to have no music in the background. If you want, put your own music on, and I'll see what I can do. I'm going to take you over to the workbench now. This show is going to be so raw, it's going to be rubbish. Anyway, here we go, over to the workbench. Oh yeah, earlier on my camera wasn't even working, so it's been a bit of a fiasco. It's my old Carnifex, Brenda. Hi Brenda, how are you doing, mate? Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done anything with these guys. I've got a Trygon, which is much bigger than this one. Dave says, got music now? Yeah, I did a thing. I'm so sorry, guys. Rubbish. That's what happens when you do a live stream, right? I can't change it, and I wouldn't change it. So yeah, this is my Carnifex, and I'm about probably 75% of the way through completing it. The biggest thing that I think stopped me was not really knowing how to do a lot of the carapace parts on it. I started doing this really nice, maybe my lights are bleaching that out a little bit. I started by doing this really nice sort of carapace, blended carapace effect here, which actually I realised that my focus isn't in right. Oh, today's going to be wonderful. Yeah. It started looking really, really good, and then there were some little bits over here, and especially on these giant crab claws, where I didn't quite know how to approach the blending. So what I did is I just put down this black ink. It's an airbrush ink, and it stays wet for quite some time, so you can do a lot of wet blending with it. That's really cool. And I didn't really know how to go about it. So what I started doing was there's some like weird sort of dents in here. I don't really know what they are. They're just some sort of cool aesthetics to break up the big flat areas. And I thought, do you know what? They'll be really good black. So I put this big massive blob here, but that all kind of needs to be brushed away and blended back in. Obviously this isn't wet anymore, but it needs to, yeah. I need to do something with it and kind of bring it all back in. I've got a couple of greys that I use, and then I'm going to try and bring some black in, I think, because what I've been doing is I've been doing some black right up against the creases down here, and then I've been doing highlights right along the edges, and I've been doing really highlighted grey streaks from the sort of splits. And I think what might be nice is to, yeah, basically make this part look like it's really sort of dark, and then bring the splits in from the edges and make it look like it's sharp by highlighting that edge. Does that make sense? The problem is I've got two edges here. I've got this edge, the blade edge, which I want to make look like it's sharp by doing those highlights, but then I've got this edge here, which is like a raised three-dimensional section. It's really hard to show you on the camera when it's out of focus. So yeah, do I do like just the darker bit in the middle and then do that bit highlighted? Do I do this bit black? Do I do black all the way down the bottom and then do the streaks going the other way? It kind of breaks the rule that I've been doing down here. Obviously this model wasn't designed for me to, you know, with that paint scheme in mind, so I can't blame it against the design of the model. It's a beautiful model. So yeah, I came up, you know, with all these sort of problems and issues, and I think while I was looking at all my big pile of unfinished models, it was the thing that kind of, do you know what, I'll put this away, have a think about it, and pick out another model and start painting that. So yeah, that's the problem here. There's just a lot of carapace stuff to be doing on here as well. Lots of damage on the top, but that's easy to repair. There's these kind of crab claw exoskeleton pieces here on the arm, and that just all needs a lot of sort of thought and work, and I just splodged it on just to kind of get something on there and see how I feel, and I did it really crudely. Needed a good dusting before I can get in there, but I think I just need to get painting with it. There is a problem with this model. I did sculpt, and I was semi-happy with them. I thought I could do better in future versions. Is I sculpted some sort of biological orifices on the ends of these guns. They're just normally flat. And I normally kind of like drill them out or paint little, you know, black bits on them to make it look like there's a void or a hole or something there. So what I did is I thought that I would sculpt with some magic sculpt a cat hair, because what would a show be without a cat hair? I thought I'd sculpt these little orifices on there, make them not sexual. That wasn't what I wanted to do. I wasn't trying to go Geiger-esque there or anything like that. I was just trying to make it look like it was some sort of sphincter, because obviously that's going to be what is the exit for the barrel, and if it's a biological thing, it's going to have some sort of, you know, cat butt or something there, isn't it, basically? So I sculpted them. They looked okay, and then I painted them. The problem is that the magic sculpt that I use, perhaps I didn't get the ratios to hardener and hardener and resin correct, or maybe it's just the nature of what it is. But it's still slightly tacky. I can still dent it with my fingernail or other hard surface, and when she falls over, she lands on them like that. She has got a base, but not at the moment. She sticks, and it's destroyed them. So I've got to, at some point, scoop all that away, not today, and then find another material to make that with, and then in my own time, beyond that, learn how to use Magic Sculpt properly, because it's a really nice putty. It's really soft. But yeah, I think I got the ratios wrong. So that's a bit demoralising. But first things first is I'm going to finish off the carapace. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the claws for tonight. Because I've pretty much finished this section down the middle here, is I'm going to take this effect and I'm going to apply it to the outsides. I've started to, I can see here, but I'm going to try and make it better. And then I'm going to do the same down here and then bring it. If I'm not feeling brave enough to do this, I've started doing bits around the shoulder pieces here. If I can do this bit and make it look cool, I will. I will certainly see if I can fix these kind of spore chimneys on its back and make the back piece at least done. Moving on from there, if I'm still going strong, and I've got that far, then I can bring that effect down to this tail section down here. I'm really fond of these carapace pieces. They're really simple, they're really effective, and they're a real sort of, they draw your eye in. There's a lot to do, and today I'm just going to be tired, probably going to be quite cranky and not doing things right, but that's what the show is about. It's about getting things right and getting things wrong as well, because that's what the hobby is, right? Some comments going in, lots of people saying that the music is going on. I'm so sorry about that. Leslie, hey Brenda, long time no see. I get what you mean. I think making it a little lighter towards the point of the claw from that dark patch could look pretty cool. Yeah, I think so. Like, when you think about painting like sharp blades, you tend to go lighter towards the edge. That's my kind of feeling. That's my thought on that. Yeah, I suppose when it goes darker towards the creases on the carapace, it makes it look like there's a bit of fake shadow in there as well, and it makes it look like maybe it's denser. So I kind of want to apply that sort of thought to here. I just don't know how I'm going to kind of highlight that edge. What I am going to do is I'm just going to focus in my camera because it's not right. I had to restart my laptop right before I went and I lost my focus, which is basically what's happened here. If I go into autofocus, that'll be a quick fix, right? Quick fix. Are we autofocusing? We're autofocusing! I did another thing. What other comments going in? Leslie saying Geiger and Sphincter in one sentence. I am truly happy. I think the correct pronunciation of his name is Giga, if I'm correct, but I grew up saying Geiger, so it just kind of comes out. If that is wrong, I apologise. And then green stuff would be my suggestion, buddy. Yeah, I have been thinking about green stuff. I went on a bit of I suppose like a bit of an expedition looking for some alternative perfect sculpting materials. I found Magic Sculpt is brilliant and it comes in some delightful little tins, and then there's Procreate. I spat that word. Procreate is a wonderful substance. It's very, very tough to work with. It's hard work on your fingers, even just trying to get the two mixtures together, and it goes rock hard, but it's too much for what I do, especially when I'm working on such small pieces. If I was sculpting something really large, that would definitely be something that I would do, especially if there's lots of detailed pieces like spikes or like dragons, lots of like Chinese dragons, lots of like tongues and wisps, and do you know what I mean? Lots of delicate things kind of coming off. It's too much for little things like this. So yeah, green stuff might be the way. So I might buy a roll of green stuff and have a good old play with that. Seen a lot of your green stuff. Works. Fantastic. Inspiring. Probably should do it. Anyway, let's move on. I am so happy today. I have got my Hobbyzone paint racks and stuff all set up. You might just be able to see a little bit over here in the corner. But if you want to see the whole setup, come and join us on Easy 8 Discord. The Easy 8 after party. Now, where are my paints? The two paints that I use for this carapace mostly are Dawnstone Grey from Citadel and Administratum Grey, also from Citadel. They're two really good paints. They work really well. They've got good coverage, and I like to use a wet palette. I haven't used my wet palette for such a long time. It has gone dry and crispy and a little bit tarnished, which you probably can't see because my light is bleaching it all out. It smells a little bit funny as well. It does need changing, but today I don't have that time. So if the wet palette is not going to work for me today, which I think it will, I've got a little dry plastic palette just on the side over here. Jeff says, I've got a load of Milliput fine left over from Leslie's tree. And Leslie says that's a great idea too. Yeah, the Milliput is really good. So yeah, I could give that a go too. Right. I want to use the darker of the greys with a question mark. I don't know yet. Let's give him a dust down first, because it's well dusty. Oh, it's taking so much energy just to be like, really peppy. Yeah, full of excitement. I am really excited. It's just been a long few days. You know how it is. At the end of my shift, because where I work, a lot of the staff there actually live on the centre. They're all like, "It's 5 o'clock. Let's go get wasted." And then they invited me back for G&T, and I'd love to have done, but I live 10 miles away. So yeah, that was well, just under 10 miles. But yeah, there was no drinking for me there. So I came home, saw the cat, grabbed myself a beer. So if you're having a beer too, cheers. See, before the show, before I'd ever really come up with the idea of EZ8, after a long day, after a long week like I've had, I wouldn't have come up to do any painting or anything like that, and I would have missed out on all this time. So having the show, I've said it so many times, I know, but having the show really gives me that jump that I need. You know, it says, "Hey, go do your hobby." Very little administrator and grey left in there, as you can see, but there is a little bit, and I can stretch that right out. Gonna get my airbrush cleaning brush just to kind of get in there and get some bits. Oh, I don't know actually. It looks like what is in there has congealed and dried. Can I get anything out? Just agitate it with just a smidge of water. Ah, there we go. Something's moving. And the good thing about having a wet palette is it will keep that going for a while. That's if anything is coming out of my brush at all. It's okay. I mean, I can do a lot of the lighter grey stuff. And I do have a couple of replacement greys as well for it. There's nothing coming out of there. That is a dead paint. Time to buy some more. I've got a couple of Vallejo colours that actually do stand in for it. So I have Cold Grey and Stonewall Grey. They're not quite the same. So if these two greys are kind of dead, then I will move over to use those. Let's have a look at my Administratum Grey. Oh, that's a tight pot. There's very little left in there, but it is still wet. There is still something, which is good. Have a little look into my light. Yep, there's still something in there. But I'm going to have to go to grey, dark grey, cold grey by Vallejo. You can see that the colours are quite similar, so that I can have a dark grey. And I'm just going to pop a little drop of this on the wet palette. The problem with using this on the wet palette is that it's an airbrush paint, so it's really, really watery. Jeff says, vodka! Yeah, I love vodka too, but, you know, trying to run a show. Right, I'll pop a little bit of the darker grey just on the wet palette there. And if it starts going too watery, I'll use that one on the dry palette. Got my lovely little Kolinsky brush, which I absolutely love using. Took me a little while to get used to it, but it was actually on this model that I learned to do all of these sort of streaks nicely. But I'm going to have to be kind of reteaching myself now. So what I try to do is I try to bring all these black areas, all these darkened areas, I try to blend them in a little bit with a darker grey. And all I'm really doing here, I think, is really just kind of up against the edges on the outside pieces here. The inside bits here are done quite well, and then I'm just going to highlight them with some of the lighter grey. And in some cases, I could even go in with a really, really light grey. I might even mix a bit of white in there. Ooh, mix my own paints again, just to see, just to kind of really bring those edges out a bit more. But I don't want to be doing it forever and ever. Mix a bit of water in with that paint, but I don't want to go too far because eventually the wet palette will start really working on that colour. So here we go, first bit of brush painting for a while. Oh, this colour is actually quite light. Have I got another grey that's darker than this? I don't, so I do need a dark grey, don't I? Okay. Let's wash that away. I can't wash it away now. What I might do then is I'll just do some highlight areas. That's fine. So this colour is closer to the Administratum grey. Sure, why not? What I'll do then is I'll go to Administratum grey, pop that in the wet palette, and I'll use both colours together. I need something to agitate that paint. This is how long it's been since I've done these models. I haven't actually... Oh, my paint's actually dried. Haven't checked on for such a long time. Oh no, that's actually dried as well. Oh my god! I might be able to break that down and turn that into something. If I can get a bit thinner on it. Let's pop that in the wet palette. Look at that. Oh my god. Gross. Mix it. Yeah. Thinner will do something to that. This is even lighter. I don't know what my colours are anymore. Could really do with some of that dark grey, to be honest with you. I'll just put a drop of black in there perhaps. But first of all, I just want to see if I can get that... where's my thinner? I'll see if I can get that colour thinned down. That's a bit too much, but never mind. Okay, it's very, very thin. I had to make it very, very thin, but there's actually a pigment there to work with, so I've got an even lighter grey now, I believe. Yeah, okay, so those two colours are very, very similar, even though in the wet palette they look very, very different. I wonder if I can make a darker grey and get close to Administrator. Oh, sorry, Dawnstone. See, it's actually quite a dark grey, and that looks very similar to Stonewall, but it's not. So I'm gonna see if I can mix some black into it. See if I can get something similar. It's so nice having such a decent paint rack. I don't know how much black is going to be needed here. That's a pretty good mix straight off. Oh, I did a good job on that. Here we go. I think I've made... Dawnstone needs to be a little bit lighter. Just a little bit. I don't want to be mixing all my paints all the time. As I've said in an episode months and months ago, if I'm mixing my own paints, then I have to get consistency. I have to make them all the same all the time. And I'm just not that good or quick to be able to do that. And also... It takes a little bit of time, you know, and well, I've got so many things that I want to paint that it'll take me ages to get through them all if I'm doing that all the time. But a wet palette will help me keep that colour going probably all night, which is cool. That's a good colour there. I could probably even do with putting a bit more grey in there, bring it down a little bit more. So that black goes a long way when mixing into there. There we go. Okay, cool. Look, we got a colour finally. Look, we're half an hour into the show, and I've got a colour to work with. Brilliant. Okay, let's put some of these tools away. Fantastic. Let's put that one away. got a desk tidy, so now I have to make sure that I try and stay tidy. Otherwise, I'll just wasted loads of money on a paint rack. Okay. A little sip of beer there. Okay, so let's get some paint on the go. Now it's nice and smooth. It's very watery, and that's kind of what I want. Almost glazy. That is actually a perfect match. Well done, Danny. You did a good, man. Now, some of the old highlight colours that I've done... Oh, I'm trying to bring it back in the shot. Some of the old highlight colours that I've done down here are a little bit crude and a little bit blocky. So I can feather some of those back out with this colour. Bring my lights in so that I'm not casting shadows on the shadows that I'm painting. And I also use these splits as like a guide for just kind of adding some sort of fake texture. So I've got a highlighted grey line edging those kind of cracks, and then a line that comes off of it into the darker grey, and then with the darker grey I extend that line just a little bit into the black, and then feather the edges of that black bit there just to kind of make it look not so sort of immediate, if that's a good way of explaining it. I think it is. There we go. Now I know I've already done that bit there. I'm just kind of practicing on some areas that I've already done. That's just a case of taking my time, right? Excellent. Now I don't think I'm going to be moving on to actually applying more of the black ink today, because most of the areas I've actually got it on in, actually they got it on in some very thick, almost sort of pen-like. Someone's like just coming with a marker and gone Sharpie. So I don't think I need to put any more on. You can apply it by brush. It's extremely strong. It is designed for airbrush. But yeah, I have actually used it by brush. It's incredibly heavily pigmented. Is that the right term? And yeah, I just don't need to. Also, like a proper professional, I didn't clean my airbrush out after last week, so it is stuck together. So yeah, there'll be none of that tonight, which is fine. What is really nice when doing this with that black ink freshly applied is that when you're getting to the edges and you can wet blend it, you get some really nice blends, really nice transitions, and And I never anticipated that when I was using it, and I was just blown away by how amazing it made me look. It still wasn't the most fantastic thing I'd ever done, but it was, yeah, if you get the chance, have a go with it. It's a shader, an ink shader by Ammo. They're really inexpensive. They do various different colours. This is an ash black, and I highly recommend it. Even if you haven't got an airbrush, have a little go with it. Have a little play. So I've got a little bit of shadow to blend away up there. It was very tempting when doing the shadow to go very dominant with the black, and I didn't really want that. I wanted the carapace to be dominantly grey, if that's a proper phrase. So yeah, it took quite a lot of effort from me to, you know, a lot of willpower to not go too heavily into the black, because the black is getting such wonderful sort of effects by using it. I was kind of getting carried away with myself, but yeah, willpower. You have to stay strong. Bit too much in the brush there, and it's a little bit watery, so it's coming out very easily when I touch the model. And it's coming out a little bit on the strong side, so just trying to control how much I've got. It might be that the wet palette is not going to be my choicey weapon tonight. That's fine. I just like to use it because it's fun. Okay. Yeah, it's getting very runny now. I've got quite a wet palette as well, despite having set it up before the show. The water is bleeding into the paint and making it quite difficult to control, so I might just move over to the dry palette. That might mean I have to mix the paint a bit more, but that's, well, whatever. It's just paint. Which is exactly what I'm going to do now. So I will move to my very overly used dry palette. Let me just make sure that it's dust free before I go crazy with this. It has been sat under something, but I don't want to pick up any dust particles in there. I seem to have a bit of a dusty house, despite my best efforts to keep it clean. Anyway, while I'm doing that, of course, because I had a bit of a disrupted start, my apologies, I didn't ask what your projects are this evening. If you are painting something this evening or whilst the show is going, let me know what it is, even if you're watching it back in replay, like John will be later on. So yeah, if you've got a little project on the go, talk about it, get over there in the live chat, share your ideas, share your problems, share your successes. Maybe someone's got a solution for you, or maybe you just kind of want to celebrate something live on the show. That's what we're here for. So I'm going to put a nice big blob of cold grey in there. Then I'm going to put the little drop of black beside it. And that might be enough. Let's see. No, going to need some more black in there. See, this is what I mean about mixing paints. I can never get it right. That's pretty close, isn't it? And then I compare it up to my now dry Dawnstone. Fantastic. And what I might do is just add a drop of medium into that, just to make it last a bit longer, stretch it out, glaze it. Pot of Citadel's Lamium medium here. I'll just get a brush load and I'll just apply that, and that should just stretch it out a little bit and help it last. Let's see. Yep, loving the payoff of the paint rack. Money well spent in my mind. Still got a creaky chair. Yeah, sorry about that. It's just, that's the way it is, I'm afraid. I'll just put my finger in some water, don't know where that came from. Okay, back to this palette. Let's get rid of the metal palette. See ya. Too many palettes. Right, see the colour on the back of my hand here. I've managed to get that colour dialed in. Right, happy with everything that I've done on here so far. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move over to the smokestacks at this back. I'm going to call them smokestacks, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're something else. I think I'm going to need a bit more black on them, really. I think I want a bit more black at the base to kind of come up from the bottom, and then I can feather it in. So it might be that another time I get some of that shader in there, because it'd be nice to have the black coming up to about here. Chimera Wargaming, good evening. Hi Chimera Wargaming, I saw you briefly on Facebook earlier on. You liked our page and started following us over there. Thank you very much for joining us and for coming along this evening. Welcome to the show. And Krista Wolf, well, hello there. Hi Chris, nice to see you again. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to mention today that I didn't mention right at the beginning, because it was a disrupted start, obviously, was that we've had quite a few new followers lately. Even right before the show went live today, we had a couple more as well. So to all of you that have found us and are coming along for it, it's not normally this raggedy. It is quite raggedy today, but it is raw. It is just a little social club for everyone to kind of come along to. Thanks ever so much for kind of coming along. I really appreciate it. It's really making my day that Easy 8 is starting to grow. If you like what we do, stick around. If you don't, just stick around, please. Tell a friend. Share Easy 8. And yeah, tell us what you're doing this evening. So if you are painting a project this evening, let us know. We want to celebrate it with you. If you've got some problems, share the problems. A problem shared is a problem halved. Is that right? And maybe we can help you address that problem. Maybe someone can give you some advice. Maybe you can give someone advice. Just neatening up the edges of those smokestacks from the damage from it just being stored so badly. I had poor old Brenda on top of like a little dinner tray thing. Sorry, Brenda. For those of you that are new, Brenda is the Carnifex that I am painting. And yeah, it's a bit damaged. So I'm just neatening up all those little bits of, I don't know, white bits. There's a lot of, because this model was made years ago, right? and I made it so badly, made it so sloppy, and it didn't fit together right. I just rushed it. I'm very ashamed of that, but I want to do it justice. So I filled in a lot of those holes. I kind of, you know, patched it all up, made it a little bit better, and yeah, I've still got some other Carnifexes from the same time, like nearly over 15 years ago, and they're still in their boxes sealed. Why? That's what this show is all about, helping you and me get through that backlog of grey plastic. Paint your grey. That might be the new motto. Chimera Wargaming says, you are welcome. Cheers, man. And Chris the Wolf, just doodling on the good old tablet. Oh, cool. Would love to see some of those doodles. You can paint me. Paint me painting on the show. Paint me on the show talking about you painting me on the show. Inception. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to extend the black up on those smokestacks. I keep calling them smokestacks. They're s'more stacks. S'more snacks. Spore stacks. They kind of give off miasma clouds of stuff and deadly toxins. But I want the black to come up much further. So it's going to extend the shadow. It's going to make them look more denser. It's going to give them much more texture and make them look cooler. I remember struggling to control the flow of it coming out of the airbrush. It's so watery, it wants to come out really, really fast, and it's very easy just to kind of blow it all into one area very, very strong. And it was that, trying to recover that I realized that you can wet blend with it because it stays wet for such a long time. But you can see in some areas it's just gone on like a Sharpie pen. That's why in fact that's actually where I put it on by brush. But there were some areas where it just went on like too much and I couldn't control it. I'm not all that great with the airbrush anyway. So yeah, I've had a lot of practice with the airbrush lately, so it might be that I am better at it now, perhaps. So yeah, I'll come back to it. I'll have another go and see if I can get some of the shader in there, or maybe I can have a little go with it, putting on my brush again, and just gently dropping it into some of the areas, like some of the creases, some of the recesses. I think I've added a bit too much medium. It's starting to split a little bit in the palette. Once you put the brush in it and mix around, it kind of gathers back together again, okay. But yeah, it's losing control. Maybe I didn't need to add any medium because the grey colour that I used is an airbrush colour, so it might be watery enough to keep that paint smooth. It's very, very runny at the moment. Not as runny as it was in the wet palette, so it was a good move coming away from that, which is a shame because I do like to use it. Kind of weird painting this again. It's like, I don't know, it's like putting on a pair of socks you haven't worn for a long time. It's like just trying to, it feels good, but it feels a little bit weird at the same time. I know, it's just trying to find my painting feet again. I've been doing so much with airbrush and grime work, and you know, working with high detail 1/35 models or whatever. They're coming back to a Carnifex. Feels a little weird, and I keep going slightly off screen. I apologise about that. Again, it was the rush and trying to get everything sorted with all the errors that occurred at the beginning of the show. But we're rolling, so you just got to bear with me. Leslie says, I'm setting up a guitar I haven't touched for years, as I'm giving it away to someone that will use it and look after it. Oh, that's nice. Are you going to paint it? Part of the painting club? That'd be cool. Jeff says, just finished cutting and gluing a Gaslands track for you and your mates. 16 foot enough? Some might say 15 feet too much, but yes, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Don't give the game away though, because it's a product that we might be able to sell through Easy 8 and Purple Lion Creations. If you are new and you have not heard of Purple Lion Creations, there is a link to them just down there in the description of this video. Head on over. I'm going to plug them, of course, because Purple Lion Creations is my dad. Hi, Jeff. That felt weird. Hi, Dad. Makers of bespoke, custom-built terrain. Very, very professionally done. Sold all over the world. Go and have a look. We have been masterminding some ideas with Gaslands terrain. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm feathering in this grey on these tail plates. Just again with that black colour that I've put in there, I'm just trying to feather the edges of it a little bit. It's not as good as I want it to be, but it is still pretty effective, and I know that with just a little bit of practice I'll get better and better and better, so that's cool. And it will look even better once I come in with a lighter grey and highlight the edges of the plates like I've done on the top part here, which I don't think you can see so well. I have taken pictures of it before, so you can Danny, the screen! Yeah, sorry mate, I'll be painting over here now. Yeah, I have put pictures of Brenda up on Facebook before. Have a little look through the archives to see what you can find. I'll put pictures of her up later on to show you again for easy findings. I've actually done quite a good job on those in the past. I don't need to go too far with those tail plates there. So now I've got the tricky business of doing the thighs, which the reason that they're tricky is because they're under a lot of other stuff. So yeah, it is going to be difficult. I've made a start, have I? No, I don't think so. No. Yeah, I have a habit sometimes of just going like, what I'll do is I'll just chuck that colour in and then I'll work it out later on. So yeah, what I've done here is I've applied that by brush, because trying to get in there with the airbrush was just, it wasn't happening. So that was one of the first times I practiced using it by brush. Got it on the brush, went bloop, oh, that's really strong pigment, and then yeah, took it from there. That when I then of course took that to the claws, and again I put that in by brush, and then I did this weird thing over here. Clearly I was having a bit of a special day. Didn't look so great. And then around the hooves, but I will neaten it all up. It will all come together. So let's control that on the end of the brush there, and let's make a start in those thigh bits. Now I don't know what I'm gonna do with the top plate up here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of plate. The top one doesn't have another plate over the top of it. Obviously, it's the top plate. So what do I do with that black effect? Do I do it anyway, just for the continuity of it, or do I highlight it all around? I don't know. So I'm going to leave it for a minute, and I'll come back to it. Now the grey that I've made here is slightly darker than the grey I used in the past. So what I'm actually getting now is a nice mid-tone blend, but it is really hard to get in there and see at the same time. And you know what they say, it's easier to paint if you can see what you're painting. Ancient proverb. Oh, it's tricky. I've gone cross-eyed. Okay, that's the outer edge of that one done. Let's go on the inside here, where it's going to be even harder. It's okay. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect, not because I'm going to come back later and make it even better. I'm going in with as much concentration as I can give, but you've got to balance a line between perfection and what's the word? Like just time, you know. I can sit here and try and make it as perfect as I possibly can, but I'll never get it done. And because of that, I won't get better, I won't develop. So I'm all too aware of I've got to sacrifice a little bit of the desire to be perfect to allow for some space of development. I've got to just kind of get this done, move on to another model, and then in time I'll get better. And this takes me to a discussion I was having with a colleague just the other day at work. Obviously, that's where my colleagues are. And we are both activity instructors. We actually train others to do it. But during the winter, no one does activities. So we turn to construction and we do maintenance over the winter. So we get into a lot of like building and painting and making things nice and new ideas and things. And it's really good. It's a nice change. But not all of us have like experience in DIY or construction and things like that. We get trained to do various different things, and it's all really cool and lots of new skill sets and stuff. It's all done properly. But to some people, it's still very new. And my colleague was asking me just the other day. She says, "Hey, Danny, do you know when you're asked to go and do a job, and like if it's like putting like fence posts up, like postcreting and things like that, like easy mixed concrete stuff, and when you're told to go away and just like cut a piece of wood to a certain size or make a certain thing, do you like struggle in just kind of doing it in fear of not necessarily knowing how to start or where to finish?" And it kind of got me thinking in relation to miniatures and painting things like this as well, because the same kind of fear exists here as well, doesn't it? Is that sometimes you can just kind of get so drawn into doing something new, you haven't done it before and you don't know how to start, that actually it can put you right off the job. Having a bit more experience at the construction and stuff than my colleague did, I was able to reply with no, and I'll help you kind of work through your initial worries and stuff, and we got the project started, and then she finished it and it looks absolutely amazing. She did such a wonderful job of building this thing. What it is another discussion. It doesn't really matter what it is. It was a physical thing that was built out of wood, and it was very big, and it took a lot of labor and a lot of love went into it. And then but the key takeaway here is that she just got started. She just needed that nudge to go like, just get some wood, cut it, and then see what happens. If you get it wrong, what's the worst that can happen in a realistic setting? Because you can daydream and fantasize all you want about something going really, really wrong and the world falling in half, and lava isn't going to come out just because you got it wrong. We're drawn to such fantasies of getting things wrong that we lose sight of what we're actually trying to do. And that's a lot of my problems with painting miniatures, is that sometimes I sit there and go like, well, what if I get it wrong? What is the worst that can happen? You're going to get some paint on the wrong bit, right? Just start again. So having thought about that, I was like, I just need to get on with some of my miniatures. I've got such a backlog and I'm being given some more, which is lovely but problematic at the same time. Just something to think about, right? Just kind of get on with it. if you've got a backlog of miniatures, it's never going to go anywhere unless you just crack on. So I'm here to inspire everyone to just get some paint on it. Let's do it together. Let's make the mistakes, learn, and the next time you come to do that particular thing, it'll be better. Trust me. I'm a doctor. My legal team says that I have to announce that I'm not actually a doctor and that I don't have a legal team. God, I'm so funny. I'm a hoot. Chris will tell you. Anyway, this is going really well. We're getting pretty close to, well, we're getting pretty close. We're at the point really where we should be having an intermission because we're an hour in and I've only painted a few bits and pieces. So yeah, if you have the need to go to the bathroom, get a fresh drink or something like that, now's a good time to go and do it. There's a couple of comments going in just the last second. Oh, just one. Jeff says, I go through stages of finishing my builds. It's quite hard to start the next stage when you're happy about what you've just done. When you're not happy about what you've just done, when yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's there's like stages of grief and anger. Yeah, there's a lot of emotion that goes into it, isn't there? And it's easy to become depressed and forlorn with it all. But that mountain of grey never goes away. That's a good saying. Unless you paint with Easy 8. Oh, thank you. Now, I know you can't see what I'm painting right now because I've changed the screen, but there's a little bit that I don't think I can really get to because it's so hidden away under other limbs and whatever, and I don't think I'll ever really be seen that much. So I'm not really going to go in with too much effort at the same level that I've been doing and hope that really it's kind of hidden. There's a minor amount of paint in there that kind of makes the effect. So from a certain angle, it all looks good. Yeah, that's looking pretty sweet, to be fair. Yeah, it's all coming together. Faster than I thought, actually. Which is nice. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break from that, so I'm going to put Brenda down, put my brush away. I might have to come back and mix a bit more paint, even though I've got loads there. It's separating with the medium in there, and with a little break it might need a bit more, but that's whatever, hey? Leslie says, so Dr. Dan, if I put paint in my eye, will I go blind? No, you'll be fine, mate. No, you won't. This is the internet. Don't do that. Chris says, no, he's not. You're a liar. The legal team just informed me to say that he is funny. Anyway, we'll have a quick break just for 10 minutes. So if you need to go get stuff done, now's the time to do it. You should definitely go and change your paint water. I'll see you in just a few. Cheers. Hello, welcome back. Hopefully you can hear me, because Leslie just pointed out to me that there was no music in the intermission, which is a shame, because it's some funky little jazz. Yeah, I've been having some audio issues and just various issues today, obviously. Hopefully you can hear my other music now. Yeah, it's because I'm in the middle of transitioning from putting all of, basically the live stream software from my laptop, which you're running on right now, onto my big PC in the background over here. I just haven't had the time to be able to do it yet. I'm not very tech savvy, so it is a little bit complicated for me. I will get there. So yeah, there's been some issues. I also plugged things into different USB ports today, and that messed up everything. I don't know why that has messed up everything, but it just has. So if you couldn't hear any jazz music during the intermission, soz, I could. Just you, which is a shame. It's one of those things. Look, the world's a weird place, all right? I am just mixing up some new paint because I got a little fed up with it being so runny. These are both airbrush paints and they're quite liquidy. I added a bit of medium, and I don't think that really helped, so I'm just mixing up some more, and again I've got the colour quite dialed in there. I did wash my water out, so I took my own advice. I hope you did too. Leslie says, and just like that, music and Dan, awesomeness. Thanks, man. I don't know why there's no music. It bothers me a little bit, but I said in the schedule on Facebook, I said I'm going to be tired, and I'm just going to crack on with it. I'm just going to do it. So fair warn. Yeah, cool. So, just during that intermission, I took a picture of Brenda, so you can see a picture of her, see up close, exactly what it is that's going on here today. In case that you couldn't see quite well on the workbench there. Also, just as I was disappearing off it, I got myself a fresh beer. I got a notification on YouTube saying that Out of This World's Models and Minis by John Takas at the beginning of the show, that his new video has just gone live. So it's worth heading on over there and having a little look. He's doing a review on a verdigris product. So he's done a statue, it looks like a Space Marine statue, and it's got lots of verdigris in there. It looks insane. So yeah, John's also really good. So head on over, because you might learn some new stuff and you might get an idea of a product that you want to use. Head on, yeah, go do it. So let's go to the workbench and let's see if we can get some more stuff done. Here we go. So here's Brenda. Not very big on my screen. Let me change that. There we go. I hope that the show being rough and ready today isn't going to scare our new viewers away. It normally is rough, but it's not normally this rough. Sorry. I'm laughing at myself. It's either tiredness or madness. It's probably both. Okay, so what was I doing just before we went off our intermission? So I did this thigh over here, and I feathered it in as best I could. But on the other side of it, on the inside, you can see that actually it's so close to the torso in here that it's very difficult to actually see anything. And you're going to see this model like this on the tabletop, aren't you? When you're looking at it as a player, it's kind of like at this sort of angle. You're never getting down and sort of in and around going like, oh, you haven't painted very well in there. I've got the effect in there. It just hasn't had the attention that, the rest of the model has had. So it doesn't matter, because who cares, frankly. So what I'm going to do now, I'm actually thinking about putting her on a cork so that I can hold her a bit better without touching her all the time. I'm going to do the hooves, and then there's a little bit on the tail down here as well. The hooves are one of those areas that looks really untidy, and it bothers me quite a bit. So I think if I just get a bit of paint on here, it will neaten it all up. That's also one of these things as well about this model and models in general, is that as you're going through it and you're painting certain areas, other bits won't get attention, or you'll be quite messy, and it can ruin the whole aesthetic. But that doesn't matter, because you're going to go over it, right? You're going to tidy all those things up. You're going to add other detail bits in, and it's all going to be fine in the end. But it makes it look untidy, and it can demoralize you, and it can make you think, oh, why am I doing this? I'm no good. I can't. You know, why is it not looking as good as what in my head? But you know, these things take time. Obviously, they don't always take time. This is actually quite a bit darker than the other colour that I painted. That's fine. And you have to give yourself time. You have to be patient and work at it. You'll get there, you know. I'm going to have to add a bit more grey to that because it is substantially darker, which is weird because on the palette it looks the same. But yeah, I'll add a couple more drops of lighter grey. There we go. We'll just mix that up. Lovely. Let's wash that out of my brush. Fresh little beer, cheers. To anybody who watches this regularly will often see me with a little beer in the evenings. Like, and that's all you ever see of me. Like, I'm not an alcoholic, I promise. Like, I have a couple of units a week. It's just at the end of the week, right? Chill out, have some time to yourself, enjoy a nice beverage, get on with some painting. My liver is fine. I'm not a big drinker. I just can't handle it. I like a glass of red wine sometimes. Got quite a stock of red wine. Just don't drink it enough. Buy it more than I drink it, actually. My friends can attest. Every time they come around, do you want a drink? Oh, I've always got drinks to offer out because I never drink them myself, but I'm buying them all the time. That's still very, very dark. Oh no, there it is. It's a bit lighter now. That's better. Let's tidy those hooves up so Brenda doesn't go lame. Don't want Brenda to go lame. Just trying to bring in some really gentle fine lines up against that black edge there, just like with the rest of it, just feathering that area in. There was a lot of heavy staining from that ink shader. It was unnecessary. I just kind of splodged it in some sort of wild furious fit that I probably had. Gotta just get some black on it, and I'm just trying to, I suppose, cover that up. And it's looking better for it already. And I'm kind of calming into the painting mode now. You know what I mean? When you just kind of go like, yeah, okay, I'm comfortable doing this. There we go, there's one side done better. Now you can see the difference. That's a hoof done. Yeah. And that's kind of what it looked like earlier. So it's a right old mess. And now it's not. Got a shaky hand going on now. Funnily enough, not my painting hand, but my holding it hand. And as you can see, the splits down here, they've all got kind of black in them. Well, you can't see because, yeah. Jeff says, all that work, painting it up real nice, and the biggest gun on the games table will kill it in the first couple of moves. Yeah, that is the problem with it. So it's kind of your responsibility to keep it alive. If it's dying in the first couple of moves, the enemy, I suppose it could be argued that they're doing something right. Maybe. You're probably doing something wrong for having it killed so early. But yeah, it happens. It happens. Play the psychological game as well. Take the thing out that they know is going to win them the game, or something that they've painted for hours and hours and hours. I love playing a psychological game. A lot of my friends will say that, yeah, I can draw out a list. So when you're kind of introducing your opponent to what it is that you're going to be playing with. Oh, I've bought this, and I've bought this, and I've bought this, and they're like, oh, we're only playing with 50 points. How have you got so much stuff? It's because I can eke out a list to make it appear more than what it actually is. So that, you know, the first stage of that warfare is. It's kind of already playing on their mind. I've got to fight all this stuff, and all I've got are these 3 units, and you've got 11. How have you done it? Well, I've just bought lots and lots of cheap things. Is the answer to that. I was particularly good at it with Space Marines, but that was a few editions ago. I haven't played Warhammer 40,000 properly for quite some time. I've got the current rule set, just you know, lives go in different directions for a while, don't they? And a lot of my friends are playing other games at the moment. I'm playing those games with them. But I will come back to 40k. COVID stopped a lot of it, which is okay. That's fine. The new Tyranid Codex comes out at some point, so I will be getting a feel for it at some point. I will be like, okay, who wants to play me? There we go. So, on to the next hoof. I have a feeling I'm going to rub off a lot of paint on the top of those smokestacks or spore stacks if I keep on holding it like this, but I've got no choice really. So I might just kind of consign them to their fate. And when she's on a base, I'll come back to them and give them a bit more attention. It's just the way it's going to have to be. Right now I'm into painting this hoof down here. I can see some comments going in. I'll be right there to have a little look at those. So, Leslie says, dude, as always, that's looking awesome. Thanks, man. I'm sure you're just here to, like, make my ego even bigger, but it's nice to have the support, so thank you very much. I hope she's looking as good as you say. She won't ever be looking as good as I can do, because I've spent so much time working on her that I've kind of almost ruined her. But she's helping me learn, and that's the important thing here, really, is that with every attempt, every time I do something, I get a little bit better at it. She was never going to be that great because of the botched job I did of putting her together. He goes on to say, wonder how long it would last against Mortarion, considering how I play Lord of the Stupids. So yeah, I'll play you. Yeah, I had a feeling someone would be like, you could play me. Yeah, alright man, consider it done. We'll work out a time. I haven't played for such a long time, so I'll be a noob. Noob versus stupid. Okay, and on the inside of the hoof now, it's going really well. I hope that the camera is showing it off really well. Much better now that I haven't watered down these paints. As I say, because they're airbrush paints, they don't need it. You should water down your paints. Do listen to Duncan, he knows what he's talking about. How is everybody else's projects coming on this evening? It's very quiet in the live chat today, but that was always going to be the case. I said that I was going to be tired. Everybody else was like, yeah, we have free license to be tired. I'd love to know how everyone's projects are going on. Let me know. Drop some photos over at Facebook as well. Don't forget that we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, as well as here on YouTube. And we're also over on Discord as well, at the Easy 8 After Party. If you are not on Discord already, it's a very simple process. There is a link in the description to all of our platforms. Go ahead, go be a member. And if you are around at the end of tonight's show, just after 9 o'clock, I'll be over on Discord for at least an hour, I reckon, talking directly with you and the community, catching up with you all, talking about projects, talking about stuff, you know, generally getting excited about the stuff that we all enjoy together. You can join in the video chat, you can just do audio if you want to, like quite a few people do. And if you're not really interested in using your voice, you can just do a tippy-tappy as well. Just get in there with the typing. Do it! Easy 8 After Party after this show. Nice to link up with the community. And it's growing. Slowly and surely. And I'm forever grateful. Hooves. That's the first layer of grey on there. The darker grey. I'll be going in with some highlights as well. It's still a bit messy on this side here. I wonder if I can clean that up a bit. That's a bit better. Wonderful. I'll just go around the back because we've got a little bit around there as well. I'm not painting the underside of the hooves because I feel like everything's going to be painted. You're never going to see it, but it's just around the edges. Just making sure that if for any reason you can just kind of see around that corner when she's on her base. You probably won't because there'll be texture on the base, but just want to make sure that there's nothing outstanding. So, that's the hooves done. That's the tail plates done. That's the carapace on the back done, minus the smokestacks in this front piece, which I'll probably come to in a minute. I've got the spikes on the backs of the calves and the tail. So what I probably will do, just for a moment, is I'm going to pop her down here. And I'm probably just going to have a little go at looking at this area here and just seeing if I'm happy with it. Because I've done a lot of wet blending, what's happened is the black shader has turned like a very, very dark grey. That's fine, but I wonder if I can make it blacker. So do I go in with a little bit of Nuln oil, something that I don't really like using. In fact, that's the reason why I went to the shader in the first place, which is a superior product to use for those effects, but not the only product. You can go back and use Nuln. But it might be good just to kind of add a bit of a filter to it, what I'm strongly thinking. I don't know if that's actually a phrase. But you know what? I'm just gonna do it because I like to live large. Yeah. And then later on, there's lots of like spikes on the top. So it's a thorn. It's when they first made the model, it was called a thornback. The idea is it has lots of like porcupine bobs and it can fire them out as an attack. And I like them, but I want them to stand out. So like I've done on my Trygon, there are lots of grey carapace pieces, but at the bottom of the tail, there's a bony piece down here as well. And it's like the teeth in there. Not doing a very good job of focusing here, are we? So teeth, claws, really nice simple effects with a mixture of Screaming Skull, so an off-white, a little bit of Agrax Earth shade in some of the darker, deeper recesses, and then generally a filter of Seraphim Sepia. Really struggling to say words. So yeah, I'm going to kind of do that effect on those little nodules sticking out, so it should stand out from the grey and just give it a little bit more detail, which would be cool. That's the plan anyway. A sip of beer. Some more comments going in. Jeff says, what are you going to do on the base? Well, as I've done with all of my Tyranids, that I like the idea of the grey ash waste. I'm still trying to make the grey stand out differently to the grey of the carapace. I want it to kind of not blend away, but just kind of be similar. The idea is that they have taken all of the nutrients, all of the goodness out of the planet, and all you're doing now is just fighting these last warriors on a planet that they've already beaten you on. So it'll be a mixture of like cracked earth, just kind of like pits of acid or puddles, just kind of gnarly greyish terrain. There being a slightly bigger base, the base would be about this big, if that makes any sense here at all. I think it's a 50mm, 60mm base. I could put some, details on there, like bits of building, rubble, dead bodies, whatever it is. I also like to mix in alien plant life on there. I like my alien plant life to be red, so the idea, I'm a massive nerd for H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, and obviously there's the red weed which features very heavily in that story. And for a bit of fun, when I did my Hormagaunts, the first models I did in this colour scheme, I got some Procreate and I just rolled up tiny thin sausages, kind of twisted them all into weird bundles, painted them like crimson red and scarlet red, and just stuck them on the base, and it adds so much colour because it's a colour that's not a part of this greyness and the little bits of yellow that kind of stand out. It was a nice kind of key thing for your eye to be drawn to. So what I want to do is maybe get some aquarium plants, those fake pond plants that you can get, and paint them reds and have like red weed creepers, because Tyranids aren't just a life form in terms of animals, they also have like flora as well, which becomes extremely dangerous and toxic, and it kills things like giant bramble bushes that just envelop everything and neighborhoods of people, so I just like the idea of this red weed style creeper just being everywhere where they are, and eventually the Tyranids would destroy that, reduce it down to atoms in a sludge, and then suck that up as well. So yeah, there's lots of things that I could do. Basically the idea is to try and capture the idea of them having already won, because sing your victory before you're on the table, right? Other comments going in. Leslie says, yay, and no worries, I never play to win, so every chance you'll be victorious, probably in the most hilarious of ways. Yeah, I never play to win. That's not the point. I'm a competitive person. I like to win, of course, but I don't go into it thinking I'm already going to win, or I'm not one of those people at all. I prefer to have a great loss than I do just a victory. Whatever. Like, it's either going to be it's got to be fun or challenging, but middle roading it, nah, I'm not in it for that. I don't play tournaments like the competitive tournaments just because I get nothing out of it at all. Leslie also goes to say, I am really good, and I'm really good. I thought that guitar would have been sent to have the frets scrapped, but I saved it, so I'm fully chuffed. I'm just chilling, watching you painting and chatting. Oh, cheers. Oh, thanks for coming along. Jeff says, no, not the null oil. It's working what you're doing. Leslie says, I agree. Oh, really? You think so? Do you know what I'm going to do? Because this paint in here has dried, I'm going to drop a little bit of null oil in there to see what sort of effect it has on that colour, and then we can make our mind up on it. Here we go. So I've got a little bit of null, and I'm just going to... I know there's no detail in there, but it will filter it. And do you know what? You're right. Because the difference in that black, it's almost come out brown. Is that weird? Null is a weird colour. Do you know what? You're right. You're right. It was a moment of weakness. There's nothing else to say. A moment of weakness. yeah, just kind of wanted to get, I want to get those depths stronger, so all those areas around those little spikes and that grey in there, I want it to come out stronger. Well, maybe it doesn't need it. Maybe I'm looking at this too much. Maybe I just need to leave it alone and move on to another part. Oh, there's my phone talking to me. Shush now. I've got a new phone. There's a voice thing on it, and every now and again it just finds a word, hangs on to it, and then does something that I don't know what it's doing. Okay, so next bit. I'm going to do the tail. No, I'm going to do the claws on the back of the legs first, and then I'm going to do the tail, because if I start doing that and then this, I'll wipe all that off. So here we go. No non-oil. The community have decided that I must oblige. Okay, so holding it gently so I don't rub off any of the paint I've just put on. I've got some claws here. Next week I will zoom in even closer so you can see even better. But it was rushed today. I'm so sorry about that. That's pretty cool, like that. So if you've been with us for the last few weeks, you'll know that Easy is going on tour. We are going to the Bovington Tank Museum to go and see the model show there and to walk around the museum. And it's not just me, there's loads of us that are going. For the last couple of weeks I've been shouting about it, saying, hey, let's get the community together and meet up and do stuff. So we did, and it's amazing. There's a whole bunch of us going. There's at least 6, maybe 7 or 8 people that are going to go, and the numbers are actually growing, which is really, really cool. Maybe some people can make it, others can't. Maybe there are some of you that are watching in other countries where, unfortunately, it might be very difficult for you. I appreciate that. It's something that I'm trying to offer to everybody, but obviously only locals are really going to be able to realistically make it. I'm aware of that. However, if you are in an area a little bit further out, it's still open. You can still go. The tickets are really affordable, and it's open all weekend on the 19th and the 20th of February, so not tomorrow, but the following weekend. So if you're interested in meeting up with us, you come down, do it. It'll be great. Bovington Tank Museum in South Dorset, in the UK, obviously, for those of you that aren't in the UK. Oh, struggling to feather that a little bit there. What's going on? Maybe I haven't got enough paint on there. Drying up on the brush, perhaps? So yeah, if you're watching this show and you're thinking, do you know what? I'm going to do something a little bit different. Maybe one of our new viewers out there fancy coming and meeting us. I myself will be down there for both days. Some of the viewers are coming down for both as well. Others can only make it on one. Some the Saturday, others the Sunday. That's fine. Maybe there'll be something different to see on both days, each day. So maybe those of you that come down on one day will get to see something quite unique. Maybe. And maybe the model show's not all that. But you know what? It's a museum filled with tanks. It's amazing. I've been there before. Went there down there for Tiger Day. And that was something else. I highly recommend the Tank Museum, and what a better opportunity than to go to see a model show down there. So yeah, £14.50 is an adult ticket, if I've got the right tickets. I assume I have, but I'll be contacting the Tank Museum very soon to find out if I have got them. And then yeah, we'll be there all day, both days. A great opportunity to meet some of the rest of the community, maybe network as well if you've got your own business and you want to see other people. Meet some of the if there's going to be I think there are traders down there at the show. Yeah, meet some of the other gamers. Put your face out there. Put Easy8's face and name out there as well. This is how we grow, guys. This is how we do it. There are more shows coming as well, and I want to put Easy8 right out there. So yeah, come along and join us. See you there. It is a fabulous museum as well. And it's really easy to get to as well. I know that that could just sound like it's just from me, but it's actually just it's a really easy area to drive to. And even public transport as well. So if you're worried about how do I get there, work it out. Be brave. Oh. I think the paint's drying in my brush. Let me just wash that out. Yeah. Oh, some beer. Thanks very much. Yum, yum, yum. Nothing fancy tonight, just a cheap light lager. It's a relaxing flavour. Refreshing. Let's get the insides of those spikes done there. It's really quite difficult to paint her without a base on. I deliberately took her off the base so that I could get in and around and paint her much easier. Yeah, you know what I mean. I can see some more comments going in. Jeff says, oh, by the way, I got one of my models on the front of a War Games book, Inside to Fame at Last. Oh, Inside to Fame at Last. Fantastic. That is absolutely brilliant. You need to put details of that up on the Easy8 Facebook, and I will share it with the world. That is absolutely brilliant. I didn't know that. Congratulations. Well done. That's brilliant. Models on the front of a War Games book. Which book? Tell us more. We want to know. If only I was so famous. When I grow up, I want to be just like you. Socially awkward and working out of an attic. Oh no. Okay, so the claws on the back of the feet are done, or back of the legs. That's all in just one colour grey. Of course, I am going to have to go back in with a lighter grey, but that will be like working even further back from the black colour, so less area to do at a time. Now I could do this bit hopefully just by plopping her down like that, and then just, yeah, here we go, working like this now. Oh, I thought I had more comments going in, but I don't. We're fast approaching the end of the show. We've got about a quarter of an hour left. But the fun doesn't stop. You can carry on doing what you're doing if you're working on a project, You can even go back and watch the show again if you're really interested. I don't know why you would do that. Yeah. But don't forget, we're on Discord, and that's where I'll be. So if you want to come and talk about any of the things we spoke about this evening, especially about the model show, you can have a chat with me about it over there, ask some questions, confirm some stuff, or just come over and have a chat. I've actually been asked recently to start doing some tutorial channels, or some tutorial shows, which I'm absolutely more than happy to do. In fact, I was talking about this a little while ago. Should I do something like this? Yeah, and I've had a couple of requests for different things. Some people want me to talk about some products and how to use them, and then others want me to talk about like airbrushes and things, and I'm more than happy to do that. And in fact, what that's making me think about is I will start another volume of shows that I will always weekly, wherever I can, run this painting club, because it's nice to have that regular social club. But if you have a look on my on the YouTube channel itself, I've got a couple of volumes on there, and one of them is down to like reviews, like product reviews and stuff like that. Just sometimes I think, oh, I'm going to make a different video. I've only got a couple, literally just like 2, I think, of a different couple of products that I've used where I really enjoyed them, and I just thought I had the time, I'll share my thoughts on it as I use it live. They're never really scheduled, I just kind of do them, and I thought that'd be quite nice to do like a tutorial thing like that. I won't schedule it necessarily. I'll just do like I'll work on a project until I'm done with it, and then you can tune in if you're live, or watch it on the replay if you want to. That one of those suggestions was by Luke, who is I believe online this evening. Watches regularly though. Luke is responsible for the Discord page, and has been following us since the early days, and I consider him part of the team, frankly, because he's been so helpful. He's a great guy, and he was saying like, hey, yeah, we you know, you could do some like streaking grime tutorials and stuff. I'm like, yeah, do you know what? I could not necessarily show you how to do it, but show you how I have learned to do it, and you know, we can learn together on it if you want to. Luke and I have also been talking for a while, just for those new people that have joined us recently, that we've been talking about doing a project together. So we're gonna like try and do some like flesh tone class, you know, workshops, where we're gonna like try and learn how to do flesh tones, and teach ourselves how to do it by doing a have a go tutorial attempt. But that might be either on a separate show again, or we might do it as a part of the online club. We haven't worked it out yet, and at the moment work is just all over the place, so who knows where that's going to go. So if you've got any ideas, suggestions, anything, nothing is out of this world, so just, you know, drop us a line. I'll either put it in the comment section down there. I read everything, and try to reply to everything where possible. Stick it on Facebook. Hit me up privately if you want to through Easy8, or if you want to, you can go on Instagram. I just put up pictures sometimes on Instagram. So yeah, whatever you like. If you've got any ideas, I will listen to them all. Nothing is too stupid. All right. Well, there is. So yeah, Chris, I'm talking to you there. You know what I'm saying. Jeff says it's called Beyond the Empire. Well, there you go, guys. A wargaming book called Beyond the Empire. Apparently, it's a really good book, and my dad's in it with Purple Lion Creations. Go check it out. I will be. Fantastic. Have you got a copy of it, or have you just kind of seen or heard about it? Because, you know, I'll get it if you haven't. That'd be cool. Right, where am I looking at now? I've done the tail. I shall have a look at the head over here. The head's pretty good, actually. What I'm going to do is, because there was no black on this front plate of the head, there is some highlights and a darker grey in the middle, but that darker grey barely shows up. Barely even I can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this grey, which is quite a bit darker, and I'll paint that in. And then when I highlight later on, it should stand out a bit more, but without looking too out of place. That paint is drying, so let's wash that off. Change the paint in your brush regularly, right? Chris says, eh? Yeah, that's right. You can make any suggestions you want. Nothing's too stupid, or is it? Chris and I come up with some brilliant ideas when we're drunk. On Discord. You should join us. I don't think I'll be drunk tonight. I'm far too tired for that. Oh, where were we? Yeah, that's how tired I am. I forgot what I was just doing. Okay, so now I've got the tops of the guns to do. They look like they've had a good go. I'm inclined to just do a very slight feathering in the middle of them, because again, they've got the ridges have got that black between them, and they do have some lighter highlights on the edges of those plates, but they are quite difficult to see. So I'm just going to damp my brush down a little bit because the paint is drying ever so slightly. I want to make ever so slightly glazier paint. That's better. Maybe a touch more actually. And then I'm just going to feather ever so slightly a little bit of darker grey just in the middle of them. So I don't know, there's a little bit more depth, a little bit more contrast. Bit more water even. Bit more. Yeah, let's go crazy. As tired as I am tonight, you know, I thought I was going to be tireder, which means tomorrow I'm gonna die. It's gone a little bit heavy just there. Let's take that away, there we go. That's looking pretty good. And then all I've got to do is come back in again with some lighter grey, just around the outsides of all of these armoured plates. Just edge them up a little bit. Okay, cool. So the only thing that's really outstanding now is a few spikes on the underside, but they haven't even had any black on them yet. That's fine. Is the claws. So yeah, the claws need some serious thought. I'll probably spend the next few minutes just kind of neatening those up. I've got a couple of minutes left now, so I'm just going to start like painting a lot of this black out and just seeing what sort of, you know, where it goes, and just playing with it really, just seeing, you know, what schemes look better. Does it look better as a grey? Does it look better with mostly black? It's a bit of a weird one. I don't really know what to do with it, but I just know that it needs something and tidying up a little bit. So yeah, it's difficult because I don't really, I normally have like an image in my head, like the place I want to get to, and though I have like an idea, I don't really know how to achieve it. And it's one of those things that when it's done, I'll be like, yeah, I did this. Yeah, see, it looks neater already now. I've taken a lot of that black away. I was just trying to get it into these little, there's like little impressions, little dents, if you like. Just here. If I'm really showing that very well. Just there. And yeah, I just went, have some black in there. Oh, Jeff says, claws like bone, like the other one's tail. Yeah, you're right, maybe I will. What about the ones on the backs of the legs down here? Do you reckon they should all be grey, or should they all be like off-white as well? I don't mind going back over those. It only takes a second to do it. But yeah, I'll do all the spikes under there, like teethy, bony colours. Drop of water in that paint because it is starting to dry a little bit. There we go. Oh, I've missed painting with brushes, and I've missed painting Tyranids. It's nice to get back on it again. Neatening a lot of this up. Still a bit patchy, so I'm going to have to come back in maybe with a second coat. It would only need a second coat if I did, but it depends if I come in with the highlights. I might actually be able to use a lot of that patchiness and kind of make it a part of the blend, I suppose. It was that idea that I say led to me finding out that the ink can be wet blended, and I got those wonderful colours patterns on the back. That was done purely by accident. I was trying to achieve it manually, so like painting it all in, and it just kind of merged. I was like, oh hello, this works. Yeah, we've got a ways to go, but we are getting somewhere. That's a little bit dark, that is. I've got to get some new Dawnstone, and I've got to get some new Administratum Grey because they have dried out, but I can go and get those tomorrow. What I've done there is I've tidied up all that black. It's more of a confidence boost than anything to know that it can look normal. And again, it's all here on the side of the claw. All down the side here. This is all unnecessary. It just needs to be like that, really. Trying to keep my brush strokes directional to that kind of sharp edge, so that if it becomes streaky, again, like I'm saying, it's assisting that effect, and I'll get like stripes that will make it look like the lines on the top of the carapace. That's looking better already, actually. Ah. Yeah, pretty cool. I'll take a photograph of that in a minute as well, put it on the post that I've already shared on Facebook, so you can see it. What I've actually found is I found that the inside of, so this side of the blade of this claw is done with my darker homemade mix of colour, and then the top one is done lighter, so I could do this a darker shade, this a lighter shade, and that might give a nice cool effect. Anyway, that's enough of that for now. I'm gonna have myself a few minutes break, and then I'm going to be over on Discord. Leslie's taking his leave for the evening, so he says, right, I'm going to have to depart now, but brilliant show as always, man, even with the little faults. Awesome stuff. Take care, everyone. Nice. Thank you very much, Leslie. Thanks for coming along, and thanks for your support. You're so nice and so understanding. Anyway, let's come away from here for a second. Brilliant. Yeah. Oh, tough evening. Some technical problems at the beginning, but you know, that's just technical problems, doesn't really matter. It's all about the painting, and it's nice to get back into it with the brush, because I've been doing lots of little cars and stuff and tanks and things, and just, yeah, it's nice to get back onto the Warhammer, and it's nice to be back onto Aliens because they're my favourites, I think. So yeah, would love to know how you guys have been getting on. There's only a few of you on this evening, and if you have been doing a project, that's cool. I'd love to see what it is that you're doing. So yeah, if you feel inclined, stick a photo of it up over on Facebook at Easy8, and yeah, we'll open it up for discussion. If you've got some problems you want to talk about, or like I say, you just want to kind of get some praise for it, then that's what it's all about. If you want to join us over on Discord at the Easy8 After Party, I'll be over there in about 10 minutes. If you're new to Discord, just use the little link down there in the description of the video, and it will take you straight over there, and it will guide you through the process of making yourself a little profile, and you can go and join us and have a chat if you want to. If not, that's cool, and we'll see you next week, I suppose. So yeah, if you've got any ideas about what you want to see more of from Easy8 in the future, then say put it in the comments, put it over on Facebook. Jeff says bone claws. Okay, bone claws. I'll make some bone claws too. Yeah, bone claws, brilliant idea. Yeah, would love to see you at Bovington Tank Show. So yeah, I'm going to do one more show before then, so it's the last opportunity to talk about it there. There are still some tickets available, so head on over to the Bovington Tank Museum page. Yeah, and if you want to come and join us, it'll be great to see you. There's loads of people out there. Really like to get connected to the community. So yeah, it'll be cool. If not, I'll take loads of photos, I'm sure, and I'm going to put them all over Facebook, so you'll be able to see it anyway. But yeah, that's enough from me anyway this week. Thank you for bearing with me while the show was rough around the edges and a little bit jagged with holes in, while I've been so tired, unshaven, and not really making an awful lot of sense, and doing a really poor job on the workbench. It's lovely to have your company, and I feel like I'm making progress on some of my models. My backlog is getting bigger, so I need to work harder to get through it. So until next week, stay safe, be kind, keep on painting, and I'll see you soon. Take care for now. Bye bye. I have really made no sense tonight whatsoever.